Cute robotic bunnies will be deployed in Florida to fight the pythons. Did you go to a drag show in Florida? Well, the state wants to know your name now. Children in Florida had to suffer watching the Chuck E. Cheese mascot arrested for credit card fraud, and a Florida woman is caught smuggling turtles inside her bra. These are the weird stories on Friday on Weird AF News. They're all from one place, the state of Florida. Our favorite place to talk about on Friday, every Friday. We do this on Weird AF News. It's called Florida Friday. All the weird news from Florida this week. Let's do it. Florida is experimenting with robotic bunnies. This is the newest weapon in their fight against the Burmese pythons, which are an invasive species. I've covered the python many times on the Florida Friday episode. They have a contest every year to see who can catch the most pythons in Florida. I'd love to participate sometime. Any of my listeners that live down there in the swamp, perhaps you can offer me a closet for a few days while I catch pythons on my free time. Now, these robo-bunnies, as they're calling them, are the newest weapon in the fight against the pythons. The wildlife biologists down there are doing everything they can to eradicate these invasive Burmese pythons, from hosting public hunting challenges and hiring bounty hunters, to even putting tracking devices on some snakes that will lead them to large reproductive female pythons. Now they've come up with an innovative new tool to help battle the destructive snakes, robotic rabbits. Robo-rabbits, as they're calling them. Or rather, I'm calling them. In addition, I will be referring to them in this piece as bionic bunnies, robots, assault bunnies, and the cutest Terminators you've ever seen. Now let's get into the juicy details surrounding these killer rabbits and find out exactly how they plan on using rabbits to eradicate the invasive Burmese python. Will they be blasting the snakes with lasers that come out of their little cute bunny eyes? I'm so curious. Will they just blow up the python nests using these bunnies as a sort of kamikaze bunny bomb? Let's find out. Scientists at the University of Florida are deploying the so-called robo-bunnies throughout South Florida in hopes of drawing Burmese pythons out of their hiding places so that they can then be euthanized. Or they're using them as a decoy or in order to lure them out of their nests. I thought the bunnies were just going to go in there and eradicate them in a massacre. I had hopes for a more exciting solution involving some menacing bunnies with robotic, sharp, nasty teeth. Something akin to the rabbit in the Monty Python and the Holy Grail film. You remember when they were confronted with the bunny? And where is it? Behind the rabbit? It is the rabbit! That is the most foul, cruel, and bad-tempered rodent you ever set eyes on. What's he do? Nibble your bum? Run away! Run away! Now, the scientists say by using the rabbit lookalikes to lure the pythons out, biologists can save time that might otherwise be spent searching through the swamps for the snakes. These animatronic rabbits are outfitted with motors and internal heaters that are designed to replicate the behaviors and body temperatures of live marsh rabbits, which Burmese pythons just love to eat. I've never heard of marsh rabbits. You ever heard of marsh rabbits? I assume they're rabbits that live in the swamp, right? Yes, with big, nasty teeth. Now, they interviewed one of these scientific nerds down there, Robert, who's a wildlife ecologist at the University of Florida. He's very excited. He says, well, our partners have allowed us to trial these things that may sound a little crazy, like robo-bunnies, but, working in the Everglades for 10 years, you get tired of documenting the problem. What you want to do is address the problem. So here we have it, robotic bunnies. Yes, it's a big nerd party over there in the robotics department of the University of Florida, making Terminator bunnies. Very exciting. In the past, researchers have experimented with placing live rabbits in pens in a bid to attract the invasive serpents in the Everglades National Park. The live rabbits were indeed effective at luring the snakes, drawing in about one per week, but caring for and managing the small mammals was labor-intensive. Researchers wondered if robotic rabbits might do the job just as well, and I guess they'll find out. In total, they've put out about 40 of these bionic bunnies, and they've replaced their stuffing with electrical components that run on solar power. They are also waterproofed, so they can withstand the rain and the humidity. The scientists placed the rabbits at various undisclosed locations for a pilot study to see whether they could fool these snakes, and I guess we'll see. They could it could work, or it could just completely go south, and then all of Florida might be overrun by cyborg killer robot bunnies, and then all of the rest of the United States overrun by cyborg killer bunnies. And then we'll have to combat that problem by creating some robo Terminator pythons to get a hold of the bunny population, and then it could just be this vicious cycle of robo Terminator bunnies, Terminator alligators, robotic pythons, all just decimating the lands. But thank God they're defunding science, so it probably won't get too out of control. Did you attend a drag show in Florida? Well, the state now wants to know your name. If you thought going to a pride event or a drag show was just another night out, well, think again. If you're in Florida, it might land your name in a government database. That's what's going on right now in Vero Beach, Florida, where the Florida Attorney General's office has subpoenaed a local restaurant called the Kilted Mermaid. They're demanding surveillance video, guest lists, reservation logs, and contracts of performers and other staff, all because this venue hosted an LGBTQ pride event. Now, to be clear, it says in the article, nobody that attended the event is charged with a crime of any sort, and the law that Florida is likely leaning on here is the so-called Protection of Children Act, which was designed to be a ban on the drag shows. They've already been blocked by federal courts as likely unconstitutional, but that doesn't stop Attorney General James Uthmeier from pushing forward anyway in Florida. James is trying to protect the children from these drag shows, because you know what happens if a child sees a drag show. Well, it immediately turns them gay. I mean, everybody knows that. Science has already studied this. So, and in fact, if you meet an adult gay man, ask them how they became gay. They'll tell you 9 times out of 10 it's because a drag queen read them Horton Hears a Who at a public library. It's true. Don't take my word for it. Go out there and get the data yourself. Talk to some gay men. That's, of course, a lot of sarcasm there. I laid it on thick with what's called sarcasm. I'm sure you picked up on that because you're a very intelligent individual listening to this podcast. Obviously, smart people gravitate towards weird AF news. I know that about you. I know most of you have enough marbles in your head to know that someone watching a drag queen does not turn them gay. Such ideas are extremely archaic and should be thrown in the bin with the rest of the superstitions that we've done away with leading up to the 21st century. Now, back to the article. It says, without naming any specific law that was violated by this event, the Attorney General's press release used some accusatory language stating that, quote, in Florida, we don't sacrifice the innocence of children for the perversions of some demented adults. Oh, really? Meanwhile, in Mar-a-Lago, LOL. Nonetheless, the Attorney General's scared little team there is fishing for some data, personal data, about anybody who attended or performed at the LGBTQ event. And this, of course, is setting off every civil liberties alarm bell that exists. Because at the end of the day, this isn't really about protecting children by any means. It's about using the power of the state to intimidate people that government officials disagree with and to censor speech that is both lawful and fundamental to American democracy. It's called First Amendment protection. But, what's a First Amendment? I mean, come on, right? That's not really sticky, is it? Not according to the Party of Freedom. It's not really sticky. They don't really give a damn about most amendments. Pretty much just the Second Amendment. You'll have to pry that amendment out of their dead cold hands. The article I have here ends saying, even if the courts strike down this subpoena, and they should, the damage will already be done. A restaurant owner, who also happens to be the town's vice mayor, is being dragged into this state investigation. Performers' identities are being exposed, whether to state surveillance, inclusion in law enforcement databases, or future targeting by anti-LGBTQ groups. Guests who thought they were attending a fun community event are now caught up in a legal probe. These are the kinds of chilling, damaging consequences that will discourage Floridians from hosting or attending drag shows in the future, and it could stamp out the art form entirely. Yes, very sad. I mean, from the standpoint of a property owner or a venue owner going forward, would you even risk hosting an event like this? Anything to do with LGBTQ, if it means that you might incur some court costs, you probably just say, you know what, that's too much of a headache. And so in that instance, whether or not the subpoena is rejected, it just might kind of go away in Florida, which is probably their goal anyways. So, little Ronnie D has a problem with people that are different from him. I don't know why it would concern anybody. I mean, imagine being obsessed with the sex lives and genitalia of people that you don't even know. I mean, that's just serious pathology.
Let's play Burlington's Guess That Price. Back to school means back to saving. We're bringing you kids' jeans starting at, hold on a minute, just $11.99. Burlington's acing this test. What about character backpacks? We've got them starting at $12.99. Burlington's done it again. How about sneakers for the kids? A-plus brands and right on trend starting at $11.99. Saving is now in session. Burlington, deals, brands, wow! Styles and selections vary by location.
Children in Florida watched in horror as Chuck E. Cheese, the mascot, was arrested for credit card fraud on site. The magic with this one is I probably could have left out the Florida part in the title, and you still would have guessed that this story is out of Florida. A Chuck E. Cheese was arrested. Let's find out who the rat was that squealed on Chuck. Was it Mickey? The article begins by saying, a birthday to remember indeed. Kids watched a Chuck E. Cheese employee in Tallahassee, Florida get arrested on credit card fraud charges. And to make it a truly Florida experience, the employee was arrested while wearing the famous pizza chain's mouse costume. Is everybody familiar with the chain known as Chuck E. Cheese? Some of you listen in other countries. Perhaps I should define this establishment. It is a large arcade with eating areas. They serve terrible pizza, and you can play overpriced games, win prizes, and hang out with adults dressed as a giant furry mouse known as Chuck E. Cheese. The E stands for embezzlement. I'm kidding. It stands for entertainment. In this instance, it's embezzlement. But no, it's Charles Entertainment Cheese. And this Chuck E. Cheese fell on some real dark times, as we're about to learn, sadly. I'd like to mention that many of you sent me this article the last few days, so thank you very much for bringing this to my attention. It wouldn't be a good Florida Friday episode without including this one. So the details here are as follows. According to the arrest affidavit, Michelle Allen, a Florida woman, the victim, she reported that her child support Visa debit card was stolen after she attended a birthday party at a Chuck E. Cheese in June. She noticed some unauthorized charges on her debit card totaling over $100 at various stores in the month of July. She obtained some video footage from a grocery store where the card was used, and she recognized the man as a Chuck E. Cheese employee, who was later confirmed to be Florida man Jamrell Jones, age 41. Now, I'm not sure how this Florida woman recognized the individual over a month later as being an employee of Chuck E. Cheese. He must have made an impression on her while she was at that birthday party that day. I, for one, I don't know about you, but I can never remember the faces of employees that I come across when I'm doing my business on a day-to-day basis. Who can remember? I mean, I do occasionally remember Trader Joe's employees because, they hit on you while you're there, so, When a grocery store employee asks what you're doing tonight, I mean, you kind of tend to have a connection with them and you remember them. So obviously this Florida man makes an impression at his job and in other places, sadly. The police responded by going to the Chuck E. Cheese establishment, and they saw Jones, the Florida man, working the front desk. According to Officer Cruz, Jones looked very nervous that day when the police showed up, and he seemed tense. They asked him if they could use the bathroom, and he replied with, "What's going on?" Well, that's your first mistake. Can we use the bathroom? What did I do? The police then walked through the restaurant to the bathroom and then returned to the front, and they did not see Jones any longer, but another employee said that Jones had put on the mouse costume. Officer Cruz says as he approached Jones, the Florida man, dressed as Chuck E. Cheese, he grabbed his right arm and gave verbal instructions, such as, "Chucky, come with me." That's what it says, quote, "Chucky, come with me." He could have said so much more. You could have said, like, "Your cheesy days are coming to an end." Or, "I know you're a mouse, but you've been acting like quite a weasel, and you're not going to get away with it." Yeah, that last one was bad, the weasel one, but, I'm just, I just got what I got to work with, which is, a brain that's firing on not all cylinders. Now, the police detained Jones, a.k.a. Chucky, and walked him out of the restaurant. Video was captured by patrons showing the police removing Chuck E. Cheese's head and revealing Florida Man Jones in the costume, which begs the question, why didn't you just take off the costume in a side room rather than walk the mouse through the restaurant in front of all the kids and families? I mean, those poor kids are having a bad time anyways. Look, they're stuck at having a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese with that terrible pizza and overpriced games. I mean, why add to the sadness of the situation? I mean, these kids are traumatized. They're going to need therapy for this. It's like when they witness Santa being arrested at a mall around Christmas, because that happens. The Santa gets escorted out because it turns out the mall Santa's got a record. Who knew? He violated a restraining order or two, and then they arrest him right in front of the children, and they cry and they cry and they wonder, am I going to get my gifts? Well, this is the kind of situation that we have here at the Chuck E. Cheese. Now, the article ends by saying Florida Man Jones, a.k.a. Chucky, was taken to the Leon County Detention Facility. And it doesn't say how many tickets his bail is going to be. Probably in the thousands, I'd say. A Florida woman was caught trying to smuggle turtles through airport security inside her bra. A Florida woman was caught hiding 2 turtles inside her brassiere while passing through a Transportation Security Administration checkpoint at the Miami International Airport. The woman, who was not identified, had the turtles wrapped up in what appeared to be some gauze and plastic wrap and then placed inside her bra. Very comfortable. For the turtles, that is. A lot of these animals get smuggled down the pants of the passengers, which can't be comfortable at all. I would hate to be smuggled down somebody's pants, but inside a bra, I mean, what a comfortable place. Hiding in there, nice and warm. It's a great place to live under a bra. I'd like to live there if I could fit. All right, let's jump back into the story and get the lowdown on what happened with these turtle titties. Turtle titties. I'm so sorry. Bad joke. It just came out. Here's another bad joke. I've heard of sweater puppies, never sweater turtles. Nyah, nyah, nyah. All right. My bad. So we're back to the TSA, who discovered the turtles wrapped in gauze in the bra. I'm not sure. It doesn't say how. Were they like, excuse me, miss, your breasts are shifting around a little much. They seem to be very actively moving, so we're going to have to investigate that. The TSA discovered the wildlife in her chest. They did not identify the breed of turtles. Yeah, you think the TSA can identify a breed of turtles? Excuse me. The TSA looked at my microphone and was like, "What's this? What is this?" Like, you think they're going to identify a breed of turtles? I mean, we're not dealing with the brightest bulbs in the light here. And that didn't make sense, that sentence. Let me try and lay another analogy on you. The TSA, they're about as sharp as a turtle shell. That was much better. Now, here's a sad twist. One of the turtles died, according to the agency. What? They can't even care for a turtle over there? You just stick them in a box. The surviving reptile was turned over to the Florida Department of Fish and Wildlife. Here's a statement from the TSA on their social media. Quote, "Friends, please, and we cannot emphasize this enough, stop hiding animals in weird places on your body and then trying to sneak them through airport security." Yeah, I mean, that's been going on a lot. The hiding of the animals on people's persons and then trying to get through security. I've covered so many stories about this. Story about somebody smuggling spiders down their pants, snakes, birds. I mean, I could just cut and paste together a whole Weird AF News Greatest Hits episode simply based on all of the various creatures that have been attempted to be smuggled onto planes in the past couple years. The end of the article here just kind of corroborates this. It says, another traveler attempted to smuggle an invasive turtle through TSA in Jersey in March. The man had hidden the reptile in the front of his pants. Yeah, in the pants. That's why I said the bra is such a great place compared to the other options. That reptile was not harmed, thankfully. In 2024, they stopped a man from bringing a bag of snakes aboard a plane. And in 2023, Miami airport officials confiscated a bag of smuggled Amazon parrot eggs and live birds after hearing chirping coming from a duffel bag. Oh, yeah, it's an ongoing thing, and most of the time it occurs in the pants area, so the bra one's really out of the ordinary. Although one could make the argument that turtles in the bra, that's a legitimate support animal. Not the mini horse, but, bra turtles, they offer true support on a flight.
Are you ready to dairy-free your mind? This summer, melt away your dairy-free expectations with So Delicious dairy-free frozen desserts. Enjoy mind-blowing flavors like salted caramel cluster, chocolate cookies and cream, cookie dough, and more. For over 35 years, So Delicious has been cranking up the flavor with show-stopping products that are 100% dairy-free, certified vegan by Vegan Action, and are so unbelievably creamy, your taste buds will do a double take. Dairy-free your mind. Visit SoDeliciousDairyFree.com.
It's Florida Friday, everybody. How are you? This is your handy-dandy, trustworthy host, Jonesy, showing up for work again in the closet, bringing you the latest in Florida weird news. You're so welcome. And I want to thank you for sending me Florida stories, those of you who did. You can always send me stuff to funnyjones@gmail.com or in my Instagram @funnyjones. That's another place to do it. Shout out to Becca in Texas who sent me this kazoo months ago. I still have it. I thought I would take it for a little spin today in the closet. Florida man, Florida man, Florida man, Florida man, doing all the things that Florida can. Maybe one of these days I'll write a Florida man song with the kazoo. Have you heard my Alligators Everywhere song? Maybe I'll attach that on the end of this episode. That could be a lot of fun if we haven't heard that in a while, right? Might as well take it for another spin. One of my classics. Anyways, let's give some thanks and praise to someone who bought me some coffee. It's I don't know this individual's name, but it's EJP219. Bought me coffee off my website, weirdafnews.com, where you can click on the Buy Me a Coffee icon or banner, rather. Or you can go to buymeacoffee.com/funnyjones as well. Anyways, EJP wrote, dude, you have the best closet and the bestest news. Love the Florida Fridays. Keep up the great work and good luck with your life, man. So I assume EJP has been a long-time listener because of the good luck with your life, man. So I appreciate that, EJP. Straight from the closet. You get my love. You get my love straight from the closet. Maybe that's a song I'll write in the vein of Teddy P. You guys know Teddy P? Close the door. I'm recording in the closet once more. I'm bringing you all that weird news. The kind of stuff that you need, baby. Okay, enough of that. I do love Teddy P. Listen, website, weirdafnews.com. You can buy me a coffee or join the Patreon. That's a thing you can do. You can also leave me a review if you want to help out. These are just things you can do if you want to help out. You know, maybe you got some time over the weekend. You want to leave a review or tell a friend about the show. Appreciate it. Anyways, this took a lot of work, so I need to stop and enjoy the weekend. I got a show tonight in Hermosa Beach and on Sunday in Long Beach. All the information's on my Instagram @funnyjones. So just hit me up if you'd like to attend. Okay, love you very much. Take care.